So, brothers and sisters, the way I'm going to put this story is in a way, well, this actually happened to me, and so last night I'm thinking about it, and I'm not overthinking it, but it struck me that I may have jumped timelines by accident. Anyways, here's the story. So, I'm going through a little bit of a breakdown, and I get into my car and I start driving north of Jupiter. I'm from Jupiter, Florida, and I start driving north. And so I'm driving north and I start looking around, and I think I just got my freedom getting out of Jupiter, Florida, because at the time something was going on in my life where I was a little concerned for my safety. I was overly concerned for my safety. So I'm driving and I'm noticing things actually don't look quite the same as they did when last time I was up north. So during my confusion, I stopped to get gas, but there was this one place to get gas. The only thing was, it wasn't a gas station, it was a diesel station, which I have never personally seen a diesel station in my life. But that didn't really strike me as odd, so I kept moving, and I actually did this, I did this video at a place called the Devil's Tree. And so I knew where I was at this point, and I didn't think much of it, and I noticed that it was almost like it was abandoned. So I kept moving. I kept thinking to myself, this is so weird. And there's this like electric current in the air. And to this day, it scares the shit out of me to this day. I can't lie about that. That shit really freaks me out. And so things started looking different, and then I looked around, and it looked like all the trees were dying. So after I noticed that all the trees were dying, I thought to myself, what the fuck? And there was this like red tint in the sky. Almost like, it was similar on how they, how they talk about the red planet. Like, it looked like there was like the red planet meaning Mars, and there was this red tint all around, and I felt like I got out of the car and it was hard to breathe. Okay, so again, I have never seen anything like this. This is based on a true account of my story, and things got weirder as I went into the store.
I can see the logo.
I believe I was in a cashless society because I didn't see anybody using cash. I did see people using cards, but I looked around and I don't see any brands that I recognize. I believe I jumped into the future. And when I say brands, I mean I didn't recognize any beer brands specifically. I thought that was so weird. Everything was like written in Belgium or German. This is based on a true story. On the beers, everything was written in like, it looked like what looked like German to me, and I'm pretty familiar with languages, not German specific, but anyways, moving on. There was a guy at the register, and he had a patch over his eye. Again, I didn't really think too much of it. I bummed a cigarette off him and went on to my journey, and so the second place I went to, it was like this gas station, super fucking weird, man. And in the gas station, I'm looking around, and everybody seems so docile. When I mean docile, it looked like I was in, like, how do I explain? Like, it looked like everybody was kind of dead. And barely able, they looked zombified. That's basically how it looked. And everybody was like, they had no emotion, no expression on their face. It freaked me out. And at that point, I truly thought I was losing my mind. I found it really hard to breathe, and I went out into the parking lot, and there's another guy with a patch over his eye, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? But there was I noticed stickers everywhere. Excuse me, I got kind of a cold going on, and there were stickers everywhere that I just didn't comprehend, and they were all of candy skulls. Like, have you ever seen a candy skull from Mexico? Anyways, the second store, I still didn't recognize any of the brands. I didn't see anything like with. I was looking specifically for Coca-Cola labels because, as you know, they produce a lot of drinks, soft drinks, and I'm looking around. I'm thinking I'm losing my mind. I may have been. Anyways, that's my story on jumping timelines. So there's a little more to the story. When I was outside of these stores, I couldn't breathe. And the one thing I remember about all this and this journey, whatever the hell happened, I really truly believe I jumped timelines, or went into the future. That's what I truly believe, is that I went to the future. Everything was dead. There was no plants, nothing. It was like these people had adapted to radiation. Anyways, I thought I had radiation poisoning. I got really scared. I called my girlfriend and at the time, and she's like, I'm telling her I'm dying. You need to come help me. And I'm literally shaking. I can't breathe. And I'm looking around at the dead plants. I'm like, where the fuck am I? Anyways, that's my story. She came and picked me up, and that was that. It was very scary. There's no denying that. I just, to this day, it still disturbs me. We were talking about it last night, especially when I was listening to videos about other people saying they have had similar accounts. But the one thing I do remember, and I do want to add, is there was an electric vibration that was like, if I felt like I was being shocked. Maybe it was radiation, I don't know. But I really do believe that day I did go into the future and I saw what was happening. And there is also one other thing that happened. There was a weird storm that I've never seen anything like it. And I've seen a couple events like this, but nothing like the one I saw. And this storm rolled in. And during the storm, all I saw was it was a freaky looking storm, and it was red. It had a red tint to it. Everything had a red tint to it, or a red haze rather. And the storm it looked like it was like there was lightning strikes literally striking everywhere. It was, I don't know, again, I've never seen anything like it. I thought I was dying, and again, I do believe I was in the future. I think I saw a glimpse of the future. So I got picked up by my girlfriend, and she took me back. But the weird thing was, I felt that electric vibe all the way until I reached Jupiter, and then, which is where I'm from, Jupiter, Florida. And then the electric vibe just went away. But then a couple days later, I saw on the on my phone that there's a report about, let's see, what am I trying to say here? A report about the weather being like sick, ill weather, meaning it was. Anyways, I'm outside, and that's not the point. I'm outside, and all of a sudden I get this whiff of air, almost like it was a giant patch of air, but it lasted for a long time. And it was just her and I don't think she noticed, but it smelled like a heavy scent of exhaust. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, what the fuck is going on here? So I really believe, I may have jumped into the future, and I believe I've done it a couple times. I've never told anybody this story, but now I have. So you take care. May peace be with you. You have a blessed day. And that is the story of me jumping timelines. And to this day, it still freaks me out. I'm not going to deny it. Take care. And if anybody has a story similar to what I just said, please share it. I would really appreciate it to know that I'm not the only one that may have jumped timelines.